Got Tally Ho rigged up for hopefully a good 4-hour sail today. Winds will be a little bit up and down, so we're going to keep a close eye on our sail trim. Right now we've got full canvas up and winds are relatively light. True wind is about 10 knots. It might go higher today. I saw a forecast that showed 20s this afternoon, so we'll need to keep an eye on things. But right now things are pretty calm and easy going. I've got autopilot set. We'll see how well our autopilot does in changing conditions today. And I'm gonna make a little breakfast while we're underway, take care of a few chores, and hopefully just have a nice relaxing sail for the next couple hours. We'll have a little bit more later. Well, cooking on a boat is not without some challenges now and then, but our wind's piping up a bit. Just looked out and saw we're up to 12 knots. But AP is handling it, I guess. You feel a little bit of a lean, an extra lean when the wind pipes up a bit. So we're whipping up a little Egg McMuffin here on the stove for breakfast. Little camping, really a camp stove toaster. Ham and cheese put on there, and we'll have a nice little sandwich. I cheated and brought coffee from home today, so I didn't have to make coffee. But I'm gonna put the camera down, finish up my breakfast sandwich here, and take it out in the cockpit with a cup of coffee. Not a bad way to start the morning. Coffee and a muffin. Beautiful sail. The winds are variable as I thought. We just saw 14. Now we're back down to 10. Autopilots. So handling it all right. Get a little bit of lean there when we hit 14 knots, but the wind's build will bring down the jib some and be ready to reef the main if we have to. But I think we'll be all right. So we'll have a little bit more as our sail progresses. All right, well, it didn't take long before I decided to reef the jib a bit. Winds are pretty variable, so right now we're about 9, 7, maybe 10, and then I saw 17, 14, 15. So I put a reef and a half in the jib, and we'll see if winds continue to build or get stronger, we may have to take a reef in the main. On a day like today, if we had 15 knots, I could probably just sail just the jib and have a very comfortable sail, but we'll try to keep the main up as long as we can and see how Mr. Autopilot does. Down below, you missed me eating breakfast, sorry, but dishes are all done and things are ready to put away down here. I do like having a stove and an oven on the boat. Makes it very nice to have a hot meal. I've made pizza in there and certainly cook on the stove all the time, so it's a nice little galley. All right, I'm gonna go up and finish my coffee now that the dishes are done and I can relax for a few minutes. Probably can't see Chicago out there, but the city of Chicago is about 20-25 miles north. See it sticking up out of the water there, maybe. We're headed due east, 90 degrees east from our marina. And off in this direction is Michigan City, Indiana, and Buffalo, Michigan, and destinations along the end of Lake Michigan. We'll have more later. Autopilot's doing really well. I have it set to the wind angle, so should be holding us, you know, at this angle to the wind. I have it set right now on the most responsive setting, response level 3. Because the winds are a little variable, I want it to try and, you know, respond quicker at the helm, so we don't have quite such a zigzag pattern. If you know, when the wind pipes up, boat leans, rounds up a bit before the autopilot catches up. So I set it to the most responsive setting so I can see if that makes a difference. You know, the wind hasn't piped up significantly since I reset the autopilot to response level 3, so it's hard to say, but the downside to response level 3 is, you know, more wheel action, I would say, and if you're worried about battery consumption, you know, this probably isn't the setting you want to use all the time. But for me, I'm just out for a 4-hour sail, and I don't think we'll have any problems. The batteries were 100% topped off overnight, and 215 amp hour golf cart batteries, so it should be good. I can watch the voltage on the system from the helm, and I keep a close eye on that. It never drops below 12, even with the fridge on and the autopilot doing its thing, and it does fine. So anyway, autopilot seems to be working great. Again, the key is you know, it depends on having a fairly well balanced boat, right? Sails and stuff pretty balanced for conditions. I could have the full jib out again right now because, you know, the winds just aren't piping up, and they're, you know, 10 knots on the beam. I think I could easily have my jib back out, but of course, while I was trying to cook and everything, it was making life kind of miserable with the boat heeled over and everything else. So you know, we're making 5.5 knots. We could, you know, we could probably get close to 6 with the jib all the way out, but I think I'm gonna settle for a you know, non-race day here and keep the autopilot on, keep the sail reefed just a little bit, keep an eye on conditions, and have a leisurely, enjoyable sail today. So as I'm speaking, the wind's up to 12.5 knots, and we're now making, you know, 6.7 knots a boat speed. So can't complain. You can see autopilot's doing its job to make course adjustments, hold the boat pretty close to our wind angle, and I think it is a bit more responsive at response level 3. So we'll leave it like this for a while and see how she does. Well, we're still running hard, due east tack on a beam reach. Winds have picked up a bit. We're seeing 15 to 17 pretty routinely now. I've taken over from autopilot just because I think at 15 to 17 with as much sail as I have up, it's a little bit much on the autopilot, especially when it gets gusty. So I'm hand steering for a while. We're still headed straight for water cooling tower in Michigan City, Indiana. Sailing due east, 90 degrees. We got about 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes before I tack. I got a limited time out here today, about 4 hours, and I'm hosting a Zoom call at 10:30 with some family, so I think I'll tack before then, so I don't have to try to do that while I'm on a Zoom call. And I might heave to, lower the main a bit for the ride home. As the winds bounce around a bit, it's we're probably a little bit over canvas right now, so we'll plan to drop some of the main when I tack. I think I'll tack and heave to for a little bit, and then and while I'm hove to, I'll drop the main, put at least one reef in it, maybe two, depending on what the wind's doing. We could just drop it all together. I think that's what I did the last time I was out here on a day like today, where it piped up a lot. And I eventually just dropped the main all together and came back on a jib, which was a nice, pleasant sail. And with the wind we've got now, I think that would probably be okay. But we might try 2 reefs in the main and see if that helps us or not. We'll see. Anyway, we're still going. Beautiful day. It's a little cool on the lake today, even though we have a south wind, but we've had cooler weather the last few days. It's probably in the low 70s, maybe, yeah, low 70s probably. Sunshine, light clouds, and a nice day to be out on the lake, particularly if you like a spirited sail. We'll have more later. We have hove to, so we backwinded the jib. I've got the main just kind of fluttering there. I'm going to lower it 1 or 2 reefs probably, and then I'll put probably a little bit more reef in the jib to get going on the ride home. We've still got lots of wind, 16, 17 knots. So I think we'll have plenty of juice going home. I'm going to take this little time out here to get the main reefed or dropped completely. I'm not quite sure yet. So we'll just kind of coast along here at 3 knots without quite so much weather helm while we're getting things ready for the run back home. We'll have more after we get the rig all set. So with the boat hove to and the mainsail pretty slack all the way out on the main sheet, I was able to just pull down the reef. I pulled it down first with the reef 1 line to kind of tuck the sail into the MacPac, and then just kept easing the halyard out while I pulled on reef line 2 and got it nice and snug, and then tightened up the sail again. So I think we'll try that on the way home. After we undo the jib, and we'll refit a little bit more, I think, and we'll give that a try. We're still blowing 15 to 17 knots. We're just kind of coasting here at about 3 knots. So that's not too bad. And again, we'll fire up the sails here in just a minute and put the pedal to the metal again. We'll have more in a little bit. All right, we are still plugging away, headed west now, back to the marina. We just wrapped up our Zoom call. I think I lost my cell signal there, so I dropped out. I ended up putting a double reef in the main and double reef in the jib for our sail back. We've been sailing in 15 to 17 knot winds pretty regularly along the way. Sea state's picked up a little bit, probably, I don't know, 1 to 2 foot. Not horrible, but certainly more than it was on the way out. I do have the autopilot taking the helm here for the last 30 minutes or so while I was on the Zoom call, and did really well. I do have it on response level 3, so it does move pretty quickly in response to the little bit of chop out here today. but it's holding us really well on course, and no complaints at all. So even in a pretty stiff breeze, if the boat's well balanced, and it's certainly better balanced now than it was earlier, the autopilot does just fine. So you know, I'm pretty excited about that. And we're making our way back. Should be in around 12:15 or so. We're still about almost 7 miles out from the marina. Making our way back on probably a beam reach at this point, but very comfortable. A little bit of lean, 15 degrees maybe, and autopilot doing his job. Autopilot is doing a great job here. We're now on a tighter reach. Winds are variable, but 18 apparent right here. A little bit of chop on the water. You can see a few little white caps and stuff, but boat's doing really well. I'm excited. Autopilot's tracking well with a double reef in the main. I don't have a triple reef, so that's the best I can do to shorten it. And then a double reef in the jib, the Genoa. So it's a beautiful day for a sail. You see two boats coming out of the marina. I don't know who they are, but maybe I'll run into them or cross paths here sooner or later. So I'm just enjoying the ride and letting the autopilot do its thing, and it's doing a great job for me. Sure we'll have more later. Still beating away now on a close reach. Smashing through some waves and having a good old time. I took over from Otto just to have a little fun steering and try to keep us right on the edge of the jib flapping and a little bit of wind in it. So we're making 6.6. We had 20 knots apparent on an upwind beat into the wind. Boat's heeled over 20, probably 20 degrees or so. Not uncomfortable for me, but my wife sure would not be enjoying this one. Still got the double reef main and double reef in the jib. The boat's been handling it just fine. That slapping sound you hear in the background is the topping lift for the spinnaker pole. I don't feel like going up there and moving it or putting a bungee cord on it right now, so unfortunately it's going to be slapping in that strong wind. But we're nearing the end of the run. We're about 3 miles maybe from the marina, still dead ahead. If we can keep this wind angle and not pinch too tight, we should be there a little bit after 12 or 12:30. Whoever my friend is who came out of the marina didn't travel too far away. It looks like he's still up close to the marina, not venturing out too far out of the bay here. Although there is one other boat out there also came out of the marina. I don't know which one's my buddy Mike, but anyway, we're just beating away here on this close reach. A little bit of breaking waves coming over the bow a little bit, but nothing serious, and boat handles 20 knots of wind just fine. We'll have some more later. All right, the end of the journey here. Sails are down. We're motoring in the last little bit. starting to rain a little, and I left the top down on my convertible, so I want to try to hurry up and get back in there before it rains too much. One of my buddies, Mike, was out but with his family, I think, but they must not have enjoyed it. They're turned around and headed in already. So I've got my little Yanmar diesel running, pushing the boat at 6 knots here, upwind, at about 3,100 RPMs, maybe 32. It runs really smooth at this speed. I don't always run it this hard, but it's good to run it once in a while, I guess. So anyway, autopilot still doing its thing. Did a great job under sail, balanced sail plan with reefed main and jib and 20 knots of wind. That handled that pretty well. So just chasing my buddy back into the marina here and trying to beat the rain. Boat's pretty much ready to put to bed once we get her into slip. All the sails and lines are stowed, and we just need to close some through hulls, hook up shore power, and you're ready to go. So the end of a great it'll be about a 24-mile sail by the time we get in. It's a lot of fun. Let's see what our top speed was here real quick. Top speed is 7.6. And it's 23 miles so far. It'll be 24 by the time we get in about 4 hours. So yeah, it was a great sail. Lots of wind, made it exciting and fun. More later.